Super fast and efficient spinning prickly fork mob poker of death, or quad trident killer for short. That's what we're going to be building in today's video. This quad trident killer is mainly designed for gold farm applications and guardian farm applications, but you can use this for whatever farm you would like as long as you can fit it into it. This quad trident killer design is my very own trident killer design times 4. So you're going to enjoy the same great rates that you normally will get out of my trident killer, except we have 3 more chambers to add to it. Now this quad trident killer does unload items extremely fast, handling up to 28 items per second. Yes, you heard me correctly, 28 items per second. However, if you plan on using this inside of the nether for something like a guardian transport farm that transports them into the nether, keep in mind you're not going to have water to help kill the guardian, so you're not going to be able to utilize the impelling 5 enchantment. Furthermore, you're also not going to have water to push around items on your ice stream, so you're going to have to figure out another way to get your items to the sorting system. However, without the water, this trident killer does work perfectly fine inside of the nether. Just keep in mind you're not going to have that impelling 5 enchantment, so you are going to have some reduced killing speed. The way that this trident killer works is we're going to have one master trident killer here, and this master trident killer is going to send a signal to the remaining 3 trident killers all the way around here, and those are basically going to be ran off of this one trident killer. Doing it this way makes it a lot more reliable and keeps the design very simple. We also have 4 hopper minecarts, one underneath each one of the trident killers, which are going to pick up items very quickly, putting them into 3 lanes of hopper, giving it triple hopper speed, and then going into a droppers, which is going to bottleneck the system down to 2.5 hopper speed. However, since 2.5 hopper speed is 7 items per second, we're going to have 7 times 4, which is going to end up giving a final total speed of 28 items per second. In order to demonstrate that, we can turn on the trident killer, and as you can see, all 4 of these are going to start spinning around. We have an AFK cart here, which is going to go back and forth. That way we can collect all of the XP that comes through here. And we also have 4 doors that we're able to open up and rethrow the tridents if we need to. This is extremely handy on multiplayer servers if you have multiple people using the same trident killer. So just to give you an idea of how fast this trident killer kills mobs, I put myself in survival mode, and we can throw on this, which is going to start spawning some zombie piglin. And give me a nudge, and then you can take a look at that experience bar and judge for yourself. This is all in real time, and as fast as you can feed these things, it's going to kill them, chopping them up and giving you the experience points for it. And in less than about 30 seconds, I just got up to level 41, just like that. And as you can see, that's the 28 items per second that I was talking about. The very first thing that we need to do is chunk align this build. The only way that I can guarantee that this is going to function and give you the performance that you need it to is by chunk aligning. If you need a resource pack that has a chunk aligning tool in it, Foxynotails makes a terrific one. It's linked down inside the description, or you can click that link in the top right. That's going to take you to a shorts video that's less than a minute long. That's going to show you how to align chunks by using leaves. Very simple and easy to do, and the only thing it requires is a few leaves. Once you have a chunk aligned, we're going to start by figuring out which way we want our output stream to go. So this one we're just going to have going out this direction. However, this is pretty versatile with the droppers, so you can kind of snake around the ice stream however you would like in order to make this fit your application. For this instance, we are going to be copying this, so we're going to have it coming out of the right hand side. So if we start inside of this corner here, we are going to go from this corner block, counting this corner block to the left by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to go forwards by 5, counting this block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On this block here, we're going to place down a solid block. Then we're going to place 3 more going this direction. We're going to place down a temporary block here and build this out by 1. Remove that temporary block. Place down a temporary block here. Build this out to the right by 1. Remove that temporary block. On this second block in, we are going to build this out by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're going to build it to the right by 1. Out by 1. A temporary block and a solid block. Remove that temporary block. Then we are going to go to this block here, build this to the left by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Temporary block and a permanent block here. Remove that temporary block. Next we are going to go over to this block here. We're going to go to this side. Then you're going to build it out here and here. Then you're going to place down a temporary block here, a permanent block here, a permanent block here, and remove that temporary block. If you ever hear me say permanent and solid block, they basically mean the same thing. It's just the way I'm wording it. So sorry if I caused any confusion. Now on this block that you just built out, you're going to place down a button here. It does not matter what type of button. Then you're going to place down a piece of redstone. A redstone comparator here. Left click on that to put it into subtract mode. Then redstone dust all the way around here. Bring this all the way down and around. All the way over here. And then all the way on these blocks as well. Don't place any on top of the 4 single blocks. Then you're going to grab your droppers. We're going to place a dropper here facing out this direction, a dropper here facing out this direction, a dropper here facing out this direction, and a dropper here facing out this direction. Next, you can go back on top of your comparator, grab you a piece of glass, and crouch place a piece of glass here. Then you're going to turn around and place down a redstone repeater facing this direction on a 4-tick delay. Take you a solid block and place it on top of that piece of redstone there, and then crouch place a solid block here as well. Next, we're going to place in all of our hoppers for all of our droppers. So what you want to do is go to the back of each one of your droppers, and we are going to place one single hopper going into the back of that dropper. Then on the left hand side, we're going to place one going into the left, one going into that hopper, and one going into that hopper. Then we want to go to the right hand side, we're going to place in one going into the right, one going into that hopper, one going into that hopper, and then one curling around just like that. So underneath, this is what you should have. You should have the one going into the back, 4 going into the right, curling around, and then you should have 3 going into the left. Then we're going to do the same thing on these other 3. So 1 there, 4 going in here, and 3 going in the left. Next we can do this one over here, 1 there, 4 going into this side, 3 going into this side, and then on this one, 1 going into the back, 4 going into the right hand side, and 3 going into the left hand side. It is very important that all 4 of your droppers are configured with the hoppers going into them like this. So make sure that all of your hoppers are facing in the correct direction, just like this. Next, we're going to start placing in the clock that's going to run the entire Trident killer. So you want to go to the corner that you started at, and then find this hopper here. We're going to place down a solid block here, with a temporary block here, a solid block here, and a solid block here. Remove that temporary block. On that temporary block, we're going to have a repeater facing out this direction, and then we're going to place a torch here, with a piece of redstone dust here. We're going to then grab us a lever, place down the lever on this block and turn it off, which is going to stop that clock. We're then going to grab our solid blocks and place one here and one here. Then grab a regular piston, place down a regular piston facing this direction. Grab you another solid block and place down a solid block here, with redstone here, a redstone repeater here facing this direction on a 1-tick delay. Then we're going to place down another solid block here, with a piston on it facing in towards the center. Another solid block here, redstone dust here, with a redstone repeater here on a 1-tick delay. Place down a solid block here, a solid block down here, and a solid block right here. Redstone dust here, with a redstone repeater here, a solid block here. Then you're going to take 2 more of your regular pistons, place one here, and one here. Next you can grab you a fence post, a rail, and also a hopper minecart. We're going to place down a fence post here and a fence post here, and then take a rail and place the rail here. A hopper minecart underneath you, push it up against that fence post. That should give you enough room to break that rail out from underneath. And then you can take this and push it all the way up against both of those fence posts. That's going to allow all 4 of these hoppers to pull from that hopper minecart. Then you can grab you 4 more solid blocks and cover that all the way up. At this point, if you go over here and hit this lever, you should have a fully functioning Trident killer for the most part. Now we can turn that back off and move on to the other 3. Next, you want to go over to this piece of redstone dust here. We're going to place a solid block to the left hand side of that redstone dust, a temporary block here, a permanent block here and here. Remove that temporary block. Then we're going to place down a temporary block here, a permanent block here, permanent block here. Remove that temporary block. On the left hand side here, we can place down a solid block here, a temporary block here, a permanent block here and here. Remove that temporary block. Then go around to the left again, a solid block here, a temporary block here, permanent block here and here. Remove that temporary block. And then we're going to go to the left once more, place down a solid block here, a temporary block here, and a permanent block there. Remove that temporary block. Then you can take your pistons and place down a piston here, piston here, piston here, and a piston here. Grab your redstone dust and place down redstone dust here, redstone dust here, redstone dust here, and redstone dust here. And then you can take your repeaters and face them into this block here. So a repeater here, a repeater here, a repeater here, and a repeater here. At this point, you can go down below here, grab you 2 more fence posts, a fence post here, a fence post here, a rail here, with a hopper minecart, push it over into that fence post, remove your rail, and then you can push that hopper minecart into both of those fence posts, and then cover this up. Now at this point, if you have already hit your lever, you might notice that this Trident killer is working, and the dispensing system down below is working. However, this one is not. That is totally fine, and it is supposed to do that, because the power travels around this counterclockwise instead of clockwise. So this is going to be the last to be powered, instead of being the first to be powered. Next, starting from the corner with the lever inside of it, we can go to the right hand side this time and place down a solid block here, a solid block here, one solid block to the inside, one on top, and one here. Then you can grab your regular pistons and place a regular piston on that block here facing in. Next, we can take a temporary block, place down a temporary block here, solid block here, remove that temporary block, a solid block here, temporary here, solid, solid, remove that temporary, a solid block here, temporary block here, solid block, remove that temporary, and then another solid block right here. Then we can grab our repeaters and place down a repeater here facing this direction, repeater here, a repeater here, and a repeater here. All of these should be on the default 1 tick delay. Grab you some redstone dust, place redstone dust here, redstone dust here, redstone dust here, and redstone dust here. Grab you the remaining 3 pistons and place them all facing in towards the center, just like this. Then you can grab your fences and place a fence here, a rail here, a hopper minecart here. Give that a nudge towards the fence. Remove that rail and then nudge it towards both of the fences. That way it is inside of the center. Then you can grab 4 blocks and cover it up, just like the other ones. Then we can give this a flip and see if it works properly. As you can see, it is working just like it should. So from the only corner without the Trident killer, we're going to go down to this block here. We're going to place down a solid block here with a temporary block here, a permanent block here, a permanent block here, and remove that temporary block. Then we are going to grab us a redstone repeater, place down a repeater here facing in this direction. Grab you a solid block and put it on the front of that repeater there. A temporary block here with a permanent block here, remove that temporary block. Place down a solid block here, a temporary here, solid block here, remove that temporary. Place down a solid block here, temporary block here, solid block, remove that temporary. Then we're going to place down a solid block here, a temporary block here, and a permanent block here, remove that temporary block. Then we're going to take our pistons and face in all 4 of our pistons, just like so. Our redstone repeaters, we're going to place them inside of all of these locations here, just like so. Then we are going to grab our solid blocks and we're going to place down a solid block here, remove this piece of redstone and place a solid block here, and then redstone dust in all of these locations here. Next we can grab our oak fences and place down an oak fence here and here, a rail, a hopper minecart, push it into that side, that way it is out of the way of the rail. Then you can nudge that all the way up against the 2 fences. Don't forget to cover it up with some solid blocks, just like so. Then we can go and hit that lever to test it out. And as you can see, we have all 4 of them working just the way that they should. Next, we're going to get some trapdoors installed. If you are building this for any guardians or any other 1-tall mob, you do not want to use these trapdoors as they can hinder the performance of the Trident killer. However, if you are building this for anything else, such as like a gold farm, then you definitely want to put these on. So what you want to do is go to the corner that has the lever on it. You're going to turn to the right and go to this repeater here. We're going to crouch place a observer facing down onto it. Make sure that you are indeed crouching, that way you do not adjust that repeater. Then we're going to place down a solid block here. Then you're going to place down a trapdoor on the very bottom part of that block inside of that 2x2 area inside of the Trident killer. Now you're going to go to this repeater here and you're going to do the exact same thing. So observer facing down, solid block, and trapdoor here. Go to the exact opposite side, place you an observer, solid block with a trapdoor. And then on this side here, we're going to do the same thing, observer, solid block, and trapdoor on the bottom part. So you should have all your trapdoors just like that. Next, we're going to get the rail for the AFK area installed. We are going to go again to the corner with the lever in it. We're going to go between these 2 Trident killers. And on this piece of redstone dust, we are going to take an observer and monitor that piece of redstone dust. Then we're going to place down a solid block here and bring this all the way down until it meets up with this solid block here. Then we're going to place down a solid block here, a solid block here and here. Solid blocks inside of this line. Solid blocks inside of this line here. And then on the opposite edge, we're going to place down a solid block here, 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 and here. That way it's all enclosed. Then you're going to take your powered rails and you are going to place them down inside of this line here. And then you could test this by turning on the Trident killer and see if our rail is blinking. If the rail is blinking, it is working correctly. We want this rail blinking, that way it actually makes the player move slower versus having a constant powered rail. So now that we verified that this is working, we can turn this off. Then grab our solid blocks and we're going to basically enclose all of these, working all the way around here. And then we can build this out. and close this. Then we're going to go to this side and close this. All the way around, build this out. Place one here and one here. And that's pretty much what you should have. Make sure that you fill these all in and that you don't place a block where you shouldn't. That way you don't cut off any of the redstone. At this point, it's pretty straightforward. All we really need to do is build up the glass pillars, waterlog everything, and then place a few buttons on the back to keep it from leaking. I have started using buttons instead of trapdoors because they are significantly cheaper and they keep the water from flowing out. So if we go ahead and grab us a few, let's do blackstone, that way it matches. And we can just take these blackstone buttons and place here and here. Here and here. Here and here. And here. Nope, not there. Here and here. Now on these we don't have to place any buttons on these because all of this is going to be waterlogged and these all have blocks surrounding the piston, so we are good to go. Now the only thing left to do is grab us a water bucket and waterlog all of these pistons. Oops, I forgot that flowing water breaks rails. So you can pick up all of your rails and then we can finish waterlogging all of these pistons. And then we can place water down on all of these blocks, making these all source blocks, and now we can place down our rails and they will not break. Then you can hit the on lever and everything should be working the way that it should. Trapdoor should be flipping, all of your Trident killers should be going around, and you should have a swirling effect of water as well. Now all you need to do is turn that back off, build you some glass pillars all the way up and around these. Right where your pistons are, you're going to want to remove these glass blocks and place down your door inside of here. And you want your door to where it's going to be on the inside. That way it can open just like that. Door here, and a door here. Then more importantly, you want to turn that on and make sure that all of your doors remain closed. And since you put them on top of the pistons, they're not going to receive any power, and they're going to stay closed. You do want to make sure, as mentioned, that these are going to have the outside of the door on the inside of the Trident killer. That way you don't have a block like this that is open for whatever mob is inside of here to jump inside of that empty gap. If you would like, you can also use iron doors with levers up top. It is entirely up to you, but at this point, we can just wrap our glass all the way around. Well, we are on the home stretch, and the only other thing that we need to add is the ice stream, which is fairly straightforward and simple, but I'll go ahead and show you guys anyways. We want to go to the corner with the lever on it once again. We're going to go down to this dropper, and we're going to grab some packed ice, and bring our packed ice all the way out here. This packed ice is going to be the stream that takes all of our items to the sorting system. Then you want to come to this side here. We're going to bring this all the way around until it is one past the corner here. Then we're going to drag it until it is one past the corner on this side. Then we're going to drag this until it is even with the dropper here. Then we're going to place down a temporary piece of glass here, a piece of glass here, and one on the top. We're going to break that temporary piece of glass. Then we're going to go under here on the inside and place in some glass. That way we don't have water going where it shouldn't. Same thing with this side here. And same thing with this side here. Then we're going to place down another temporary piece, a piece of glass here, a piece of glass here. Remove that temporary piece. Then we're going to bring this all the way across until it meets up with the end here. Then we're going to go all the way around here. And we're going to drag this all the way around the farm. Do not place the top glass roof on yet because we do still need to add the buttons in and also the source blocks of water. Next we can go to the very last dropper and then we can place in a source block of water. Now see how that source block of water pushes and then it makes it go straight and pushes it straight into this. We don't want that because the items are going to push into this and they're not going to go around the corner. So what we want to do is grab us a button and we're going to go a couple blocks back. We're going to place down a button here, place down another source block of water, that way it flows around the corner. And then we're going to do the same thing here with this corner. Place down a button, a source block, make it flow around the corner. And same thing with this one here, a button there, a source block of water, and let it flow around the corner. We can also place one here, more water, and then that's going to flow. I almost got it to the end. Right there. Perfect. Now we can go and place our roof on just to make sure that no items pop up out of here. Beautiful. Let's try it out. Can't forget our tridents. Make sure if you are using this to where everything is waterlogged, if you are not inside of the nether, that you use the Impaling 5 enchantment. You're going to want to use anywhere from 1 to 4 depending on how many mobs are going into your trident killer. Alright, I got all of the testing circuitry in, so Let's go ahead and throw this on. Everything seems to be spinning the way that it should. Go ahead and throw some pigos in here. That is satisfying, and it looks like it is working just the way it should. Alright, I added some fire, so hopefully that should burn up all of the items and keep everything from lagging. Yours will of course go into your sorting system. Can't forget the chariot. There we go. Now this is not normally going to move unless you give it a nudge to start, but once you start it off, it should be good to go. So let's go ahead and throw that on. Get some pigos in there. Give us a nudge. Put us in survival. And as you can see, it looks like it works great. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you appreciate the tutorial, then please drop a like and consider subscribing if you have not already done so. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.